Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vuvu Kokweni Genyekazi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are watching my videos for the very first time, I would like you and appreciate it if you would like the video, subscribe, and also start sharing the videos. If at all you are a returning subscriber, I would like to say thank you very much for returning and continue liking the videos, continue sharing the content. I would really honestly appreciate that. And lastly, I would like, if you would like to leave a comment below, I would appreciate that. I really love engaging and interacting with people so that, I could get the vibe whether you earned anything, because the whole point, like I said, if there's anyone who can be inspired to become the best versions of themselves holistically, then I will have gained what I wanted to gain. So today I decided to actually take the recording in one of my favorite corners of the house, okay? Because it is really indicative of who I have been over the years. And you can see, for example, here, this is my medal hanger, okay? And really, this is not all the medals I have earned in my running space, or rather my wellness journey, but because there's limited space, I choose the different types of medals that go here, of course, depending on the history or on the achievement, and I guess anything that's close to my heart, whether it was the time I gained for that race, or anything that is history, good history behind it. And then, of course, I will talk you through over the different types of videos. And then, as you can see in that corner, I've got a framed set of running shoes that really belong to one of my races that are very close to my heart, which was the 100 miler, the Washi 100 miler. And then at the back there, we have trophies that I've earned in my running, and anything that was, running related, which is very close to my heart. And then lastly, this is my bookshelf, an avid reader. And so, yeah, I just thought I would just give more light. And but today specifically, I first want to start sharing how I actually started running. This is now the progression, because remember from my intro, I told you guys I was on the other end of the spectrum in terms of health, couch potato, guys. The only exercise I ever did was really walking to the bus stop if I'm going to school, or walking to the shop or something like that. But in terms of focused training and for fitness, no, I didn't do any of that. And of course, my eating was just on the other end of the spectrum. That's why I landed up with 100 kgs and I was a size 44. So this is really for those people. It's not just for runners, but it's really a strategy that can help anybody who is trying to move from a couch potato, or you are doing some sort of fitness related exercise, but it's either you're not consistent or you don't know how to build up to actually become a fitter somebody, because everybody has different goals, all right? And we can appreciate that. But I think when people look at fit people and you're on the other end of the spectrum, you think it's unattainable and you think it's for certain people. I was like that, even with running. I was one of those people who said, running is actually meant for certain people. I am meant for walking. That's it, you know. And it's all mental, guys. It's all mental. You can actually move from being a couch potato to actually being an elite athlete. So today's session is really about how I progressed from being a couch potato and to getting to a point where I was running ultra marathons. So the first point I usually like to highlight for people is that remember, I used to just not do anything. So I really started with walking. I used to do big walks. At the time, I was staying in Cape Town, and there would be big walks. So I would walk at least, I started with 3 times a week. I would train just doing walking. And of course, I started, you know, trying to eat better, having to drink more water, and having to try to eat better, you know. And so I was starting to get fitter. And the easiest way is, you know, when you start getting fitter, you want to actually start doing better, right? And that's when I started doing some running. I had a friend of mine, Anele, and she was already running a lot. So I was like, okay, let me start with this running. And I literally started from a run walk strategy, guys. If you have not been running at all, you need to start with walking. Even if it means walking 2 minutes, walking 2 minutes, run one. Walking 2 minutes, run one. Okay. But it needs to be consistent. Even if you are saying you're running twice or 3 times a week. But I started with run walk strategy. And I didn't start with a 5 kilometer. I went straight to a 10 kilometer. But even that 10Ks, I never ran 10Ks solely, right? I would walk probably a total of 6Ks, but run 4, okay? And believe it or not, it was the most exhausting thing for me. I'll do 10Ks. I think I started with doing 1 hour 30, and I would be tired the whole day. Okay. And because running is really a catabolic sport and it's really strenuous to the body. All right. But I really enjoyed, I guess, the feeling. So lesson number 1 is do not be scared to start off small. Walk 2 minutes, run 1. Walk 2 minutes, run 1 for probably 30 minutes, 3 times a week. But what's important, guys, with everything, consistency is key. Consistency. So if you're doing 3 times a week, start with 3 times a week and then start building up probably every 2 weeks. All right. And then I started getting better with 10Ks because there were races every week. Okay. There were races every week and I progressed from a 10 to a 15. And then I did, and suddenly 21s started becoming something that was in the horizon. Okay. So my experience of the first 21Ks, I've forgotten the name of the race in Cape Town, but it was one of the most important half marathons I'm not sure whether it's in South Africa, but those who know Cape Town, you basically run from Camps Bay High up to the Table Mountain, okay, the cable car, right? And then you run back again, and then you go up Signal Hill, and then you run down Signal Hill on your way back to Camps Bay High, all right? Ugelge had just done a 15K, so I was like, okay, the next 6Ks really is only just mental. I went there. That was my first 21 kilometers. I ran the first 15. I tried, I run, walk, doing everything. Guys, the last 6Ks, I could feel my legs were giving in. you know. And I remember there's this other guy I knew in my club, that came back, that went to the finish line and came back to fetch me and ran with me. And just as we were about to enter the last 100 meters, my legs gave in. I promise you, I just went plonk down there. It was not, I was not unconscious. It's just that my legs, it was just too much for my legs. And I had all the helpers of the race come to me, and then because I just couldn't stand up. And they kept on asking me, what did you eat on the road? What did you eat on the road? And I was like, oh, so you guys are supposed to eat, you know? Because all I did, I didn't have breakfast. All I do is to just have water on the road and then Coke probably the last couple of kilometers. And they were like, no, you're supposed to eat, you know? And that was one lesson I learned, that, oh, so nutrition is also part of this. All right. And then after that race, I did, by the way, finish the race. It took some time for me to wobble up and basically just walk the last 100 meters to the end. But the moral of the story is that's when I got to understand that, you know what, there's a lot that has to come to play. You don't just run. You don't just wake up and run, let alone train, you know, the different types of training. But progressing from there, guys, I got to this guy I told you about that came to fetch me. He started training with me. He was more advanced. He had run more ultra marathons and stuff. Then we then started training together, before I left Cape Town. Then he got to explain to me that, there's different types of training that you need to do. You need to do hills, you need to do speed, and now all I did for 3 days in a week before I go to a race, I'd run 10Ks. If it's the same route. If it's got hills, it will be hilly until I get tired of that race, So I had no strategy, I had no plan. All I did was I knew that I'd go there and I'd run. All right. So he then gave me more information about how to then progress, from a 21K, because at some point I was like, I would really, really love to run a marathon, which is your 42 kilometers. And then all you just need to do is to just add mileage to your legs, okay? Add mileage to your legs. So I found myself going from a half marathon, being able to run my first 42 kilometers, in 2011, I think. Yeah, 2011. This is now 2 years later. And one of my characteristics is having a teachable spirit, guys. Having to gather information from people that are in the know. Gather information from people that are in the know. How do I move from a 21 kilometer to 42? What does it take? I'm that kind of person. I need to know what I am, what I am committing to. What does it take for me to get there? Am I in the right mental space? Do I have the time and everything else, so that I am able to commit holistically, And then I then did my first marathon, did my first ultra, which was the Oceans 56. I was getting fitter. But one of the things I noticed in the first 5 years of my running, this is now from 2010 till 2015. At the time, at 2015, I was already running your 56. Then 2013, I started running my first Comrades Marathon, okay, which is your 89 kilometers. So 2013, 2014, 2015, I did the Comrades. And 2012 until 2015, I was also doing Oceans 56. One thing about me, guys, is that I've got the stamina, okay? I've got the stamina. But one thing I got to be very unhappy about, I think that's the word, in the first 5 years. I really like reflecting and looking upon whether, am I progressing? I honestly want to see progress in everything that I do. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. And at the time, in those first 5 years, I'm really just training myself. I look at training plans that are in the websites and everything that is, all the knowledge that you get from other people that have done it before. So I've got training people in PE as well. But I was not happy with the times I was doing. I felt like I was just too mediocre, just not improving because I was just finishing the race. But more than anything, I was just not progressing. And also, I had reached a stage, once I started doing long distance running, I felt that I was gaining weight. I am not going where I was, but I'm just also not progressing. So I reached a plateau training wise, I reached a plateau nutrition wise. I was just not losing the weight. But one of the things when I started the long distance running, once I realized that I'm not gaining weight, I'm not losing weight, is that after all of that, I read up on Runner's World to say that long distance runners are the worst people in terms of quantifying the calories that they've lost in a race, especially us slow runners. We tend to think we've burnt a lot of calories, but our eating also, we think we've earned everything, right? And then you can eat anything you want. Because I found that I feel now, as much as I was doing progress when I started running, my running times are not improving and my weight is also not improving. I was now sitting at 80 kg and I'm just sitting there. I run Comrades, I run 56, but there is nothing that's really progressing. It's that plateau that frustrated me so much. Yes, I had progress from the couch potato. I could now run 56, I could run 89. One thing about me, guys, is the mental strength. I work on the mind. So my training, I work on the mind a lot. That's why I say I will start and I'll finish. My first Comrades marathon, I did 11:59, 17 seconds, and the cutoff was 12 hours. Okay. It is my mental strength that sustained me. But for 3 years, I was doing this Comrades and I was not progressing at all. And that's the plateau where I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing this myself. And I think that I am putting in a lot of work. That's what I thought. So if I'm not getting the kind of results that I am wanting, then I definitely am doing something wrong. And I need to find out what it is that I'm doing wrong, because I'm investing too much time, too much money, too much everything in what I think I'm doing right. Okay. But it's just not popping. All the times I would want in terms of my training, what I thought I am putting in a lot, but I'm not getting the kind of result. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to continue investing without getting to know what it is that I'm doing wrong. And that, my friends, is going to be the next video into how then did I go about, because what I did, I sought the help of a professional coach. I was like, you know what? I used to think coaches are just for elite athletes, but you know what? I feel that I've invested enough. I need to know what it is that I'm doing wrong. And I guess that's the overachiever in me. And then I embarked on the coaching journey. So in the next video, we're going to talk about what coaching did for me to move me from a very average runner to actually being what I would call an elite athlete. Someone who used to be at the back end of a race to someone who suddenly now became someone people started looking out for, because I honestly became a churning machine, something I never thought I would ever become. Okay. And so my takeout here is to say you can move from being a couch potato to actually getting to this amount of fitness that you want. You just need to have a teachable spirit. And you also need to be willing to be consistent to work at it. Guys, we need to always refine ourselves. And if you don't work at it, it's not going to change. And also, about wellness and fitness is that nutrition is a big part of fitness. So that's what I got to understand in the first 5 years, that nutrition is actually important. Nutrition now is what you eat on a daily basis. This is what you eat after or while you're training, after you're training. Rest is an important part of it. Like, I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my goodness, I just thought you just go and run. And when you run so much kilometers, you're just going to drop every kilogram that's there. But if you're not doing things right, if all of those are not gelling together, then you're going to hit a plateau and you're going to be very frustrated. And lastly, every level has a level. So I might have gone from a couch potato to an avid runner, but to be able to level up to the next level, there's a lot that you need to do behind the scenes to actually become a better person. So thank you very much for listening. And if there's anybody that you feel could gain from this, please please share. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Otherwise, the next one is going to be very, very interesting. Otherwise, stay safe, stay happy, and stay working on the best version of yourself. Ciao.